No, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Getting it in the neck.
Fun.
Policy.
Bright.
Organisation.
Hardworking.
Friend. Sorry. I'm really bad at these games.
We'll solve it. I'm Charlie Bell, I'm at Cambridge Medical School, and I've been part of the MSc for a couple of years now and chairing for just the last 2.
My name's Harry. I've been the co-chair of the MSc now it's my 4th term, doing it my 3rd term with Charlie. We really hit it off as friends first of all, because I think we shared lots of the same views about how things should work. I think Charlie's a real pragmatist, and I think he doesn't take any nonsense, which I really like. He's very clear and honest with me about some of the things that I say, and I appreciate that.
Sometimes too honest.
Sometimes too honest, but I appreciate that.
I remember when I first started, I thought I'd only do a little amount, but now I seem to have been in it for 3 years and still going. And I suppose it gets more and more interesting each year. I think the MSc is a really good place to get involved in that sort of medical politics world because it's fun as well. And there are lots of opportunities to sort of meet other people from other medical schools, get involved in more social events as well as those kind of political things. I knew I wanted to be involved, and I knew that there were some challenges in the NHS, and that was probably where my knowledge stopped, really. I certainly didn't know how to put a cannula in even at that stage. In the last couple of years, we've learned a huge amount, but certainly you come across new issues raised from the medical schools, actually, and often from our reps, or from non-reps who say, oh, this is a problem, can we look at this? And, you know, then you suddenly think, gosh, there's a whole sort of mine of stuff here that we haven't covered, and stuff that we can then cover. So.
Absolutely. The role of an MSc rep, if they go to meetings with other people, you know, external stakeholders, the various people we try and talk to, their role is not to have a very specific knowledge around NHS policy or around government policy. What they bring to the table, which is their unique selling point, is their experience as a medical student. And actually, often in those groups, that's the only different voice in the room, because the rest of the people there often say the same things, and it's the medical student with their very specific experience about their life at med school that actually often changes what people think, because they're the only different voice. Every medical school is slightly different. The first thing to say is that there's at least 1 or 2 elected medical students who sit on our committee at each of those schools, and they should be your first point of contact, really, to find out what's going on. Try and go along to the medical students conference, try and come along to one of our meetings, or even just go along to one of the local BMA events at the medical schools and just see if it's something that would be interesting. People are looking to involve more and more people, because the BMA works better when it's engaged with more and more people. The Secretary of State has announced that he's going to increase medical student numbers, and we're trying to make sure that that doesn't have an adverse impact on the future of the profession. We're also looking at working with the GMC on some of their new assessments that they're wanting to bring out for medical students, again to make sure that medical students aren't overburdened. But actually what's, I think, taking up most of our time, and indeed what's taking up most of the country's time, is Brexit. And so making sure that we have, the BMA has a good immigration policy that supports international students coming from all over the world, but particularly from the EU, but also that we can protect those students currently in universities in the UK from the EU. So, for example, by making sure that they can receive the funding necessary for them to continue their medical degree and therefore be able to qualify as doctors and work in the NHS. Wonderful advocates for medical students.
Trouble.